Robbie, for coming to share that with us.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. I wanted to talk about my departmental honors research project that I've been doing for the past year. I work with a nursing professor at the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing, and Dr. Meehan has kind of been our middle woman, so that's been great. So for my research, I've looked at the benefits of human milk, which as healthcare providers you've learned about at some point in your careers. Specifically, we've been looking at the use of donor human milk and how it has impacted the lives of NICU infants at the donor hospital, which is the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where we're doing our research. The benefits of donor human milk, just to recap, include a decreased risk of necrotizing enterocolitis in NICU infants, which is very important because all babies come out of the womb and don't have mature gut flora. Especially in critically ill infants, it's really important that the breast milk is there to help them develop that as soon as they enter the world because they're already at risk with immature immune systems. It decreases the risk of sepsis, increases their immunity, decreases the risk of allergies as they get older throughout their life, things like that. The definition of donor human milk is that donor human milk is the use of human milk as an exclusive diet for infants when the human milk is from an unpaid mother who's not biologically related to the recipient infant. It has the same benefits as breast milk because it is the same milk, but it's more important in healing and treating critically ill infants that wouldn't otherwise be receiving breast milk. The screening process for donor human milk is regulated by the Human Milk Banking Association of North America, which we call HMBANA. They regulate 18 active milk banks, and there's currently 11 in development throughout the United States. The closest one in South Carolina is in Charleston, so that's interesting. The screening process is a 6-step process similar to that of blood donation. Specifically, we do serological testing, checking for HIV, syphilis, HTLV, hepatitis B and C, things like that. In 2014, there were 7 undiagnosed cases of HIV when the mother's breast milk was screened. So we find that really, really important that that screening process is done by a company that regulates that. So that's why HMBANA is very important because there are what we like to call the black market of milk banks and things like that that do online milk sharing and things like that where you are at risk for contracting HIV in your infant if they were to receive milk that was unscreened, unprocessed, unpasteurized. So that's why HMBANA has been super important and is trying to regulate the competition. Other companies that sell breast milk right now are named Prolacta and Metalac. They buy and sell breast milk for profit, which HMBANA is a nonprofit organization. Just like blood donation, we think it's important that milk is a commodity just like blood. It's essential to humans, just like blood donation is, and so we think it's important that it's regulated by HMBANA so that those infants are getting that for free. I went to the United States Breastfeeding Committee meeting in August, which is a national organization that's founded to promote the use of breastfeeding and increase the rates in the United States. And it was really interesting. We met with people from the CDC, the World Health Organization, and all the different organizations in the US that are concerned with breastfeeding. And they talked about how donor human milk it has a lack of a definition in today's society. They don't value the idea of donor. So we're trying to change that definition going into the research that I'm doing. So the milk is pasteurized using the Holder method, which does eliminate some of the beneficial properties of the milk. So future research is looking at other methods to maintain those properties, such as a flash heat method. It's really recent research, so there hasn't been a ton of studies done on it. The fortification process for donor human milk, right now we use formula to fortify any milk that babies would need extra calories, things like that. There is a human milk fortifier, which would be better because it would be fully human milk that the baby's receiving, and it's made by Prolacta, but it's very expensive. So we're working on trying to figure out if insurance would cover that in the future as they realize the need for human milk as a diet for infants. My personal gratification with donor human milk is that I've really enjoyed my research and seeing how this milk is used in a hospital. I got to work in the NICU this summer in Philadelphia, and it was so awesome to see babies be receiving this and having such a decreased risk of necrotizing enterocolitis. The worry about donor human milk being used in hospitals more commonly is that it's expensive according to insurance companies, but if you weigh the risk of contracting a disease like necrotizing enterocolitis and the things that you would have to use to treat that, as well as the cost of formula, it really makes much more sense to use human milk. So we did a study on how donor human milk is used at the hospital we studied 375 premature infants, and so that study will be released next semester, and I'm excited to share it with everybody. I presented at the National Student Nurses Association conference in Phoenix in April on donor human milk and talked about it with other students on why it's important and why we should encourage the support of its use in the hospitals. So that's cool to have other people supporting that passed, and so that's exciting. I just want to thank you guys for your continued support of all the students that do research here. It's really important to us, and we've loved to find our passions as we get to do research with you guys. So thanks
I
for
have a
supporting
quick
us.
question.
Yeah.
Did you say the insurance pays for the human donor milk or does not?
Well, some companies do. It depends on how critically ill the infant is
Okay.
right now. It's very variable. I hope that in the future it's covered for all infants that might need it because they realize how essential it is, that it's a medicine more than food. You know what I mean? So
Maybe the next part of your research could look at the, insurance companies and advocating
For
for
sure.
them for
the study that we did, it
payment.
analyzes the cost of it, which
Okay.
actually is very low compared to formula. So hopefully our research will help to promote insurance covering that.
Good.
Yeah.
Quick question, is it still necessary to have the prescription from a primary care provider to get the human milk?
Yes, in the hospital and outside of the hospital. So if they were ill enough to receive it from a primary care physician. Yes.
Well, I appreciate your presentation. I was not aware of donation of human milk, so that's been very informative. And I recognize that folks might need the donation if they aren't able to breastfeed. All of the positive outcomes that you mentioned, are they the same for breastfed babies?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's still
All
human
the
milk.
same.
Absolutely. Yes. Any other questions? Well, that's all I have. Thank you guys.